G'day everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the Melbourne Punters Show. As usual, I'm joined by Darren Potter. And back from the Warrnambool stable off the Water Walker is Dan Kelly.
Ralph out, Dan in. Good to have you back, mate.
Chubby, yes, thank you.
Boys, we had a cracking, really good meeting there at Caulfield on Saturday for the Blue Diamond. I saw the Cox Plate winner. I'm very confident in saying that I saw the Cox Plate winner on Saturday and it wasn't Winks. It's just trying to get a price on it, but I think Flying Artie was huge. But we'll go back to the beginning of the week. Potson, you've got a bit of a yarn to tell us about when you were starting the process of doing it.
Well, just around the corner, Jumpy, just that way, a few hundred metres, is the tab building. And in the bottom of the tab building, there's a news-agent. So I sort of thought, I'll wander across there and pick up the best bets. First time I've ever been into this news-agent. In the bottom of the tab building. So I go in there, and it's Thursday morning, and he's only got one copy of the best bets left. And I say to the bloke there, "Oh, you're nearly sold out." And he goes, "No, that's the only one."
That's it.
Well, what do you mean it's the only one? You're in the tab building. Surely there's people in this building they're interested in racing. Surely there's someone interested in racing. So either the tab get their own best bets delivered, or all the people that work in the tab building do not give a shit about racing.
Either way, it's a
So
worry.
Amazing. I'll take the latter. But anyway.
You just have to. He goes, "I think they're too experienced to worry about the best bets." And I went, "I don't know about that, mate."
So, judging by some of the early prices, they could probably use best bets.
Yeah, anyway.
It used to be. When I was back then, before I got heavily involved, I mean, the winning posts and things like that, it was a dash.
Yep.
You had to go and you went around and try and find one in 3 different joints. You had to find it for Friday night or Thursday night or whether it was, it was a must get, And same with bets now with the stuff. So
That's one thing that I've noticed since winning posters no longer printed in Melbourne, they printed in Ballarat, and it's like you can't get it on a Thursday night anymore. And it used to be like you get it Thursday night so that you'd have it ready, you'd read through what was happening on Saturday, and you'd also have Friday stuff there. It's it's changed. I suppose everything's moving digitally now, and everyone sort of gets their form a bit more that way. But
I do all the digital stuff, but I still get the best bets.
yeah, so do I. Like I still get a form guide each weekend.
Yeah, a lot of people do, yeah.
And judging by the blow up that we've seen a little bit on social media and on the radio over the last couple of days, with the Herald Sun down here changing the font of their form guide, well, why would you make your font smaller when you've predominantly got an older audience, most of whom can't see that well? So I don't know who the genius was who thought that was a good idea, but you've probably copped your right whack there because everyone's outraged.
I think we should start with the Blue Diamond, Juppy.
Okay.
We won't do it in race order. We'll go through the high profile races first. So.
I thought I saw the winner of the maiden hurdle at Warrnambool in the first subpots. In a sign, yeah. The Blue Diamond, it's a terrific race. Everyone's sort of asking whether Flying Artie, if you've got maybe not got shunted on the turn, would he have got closer? But judging by the sectionals that were run, I think it was pretty tough, wasn't it?
Yeah. Winner's gone.
Winner's gone.
It was enormous. Depends on who you speak to and how you look at the race, but Dan, some people say it's a little bit less than how well Seapoint went, but Dan O'Sullivan says he seems to think about the equal of Seapoint. And he's the best. Huh?
That's a huge run.
No, massive. And that last section just sealed it,
Yeah.
But he was able to pull out the 11 equal last section of the same as Flying Artie and best of the race, well, not best of the race, but the 11.83 pulled out, just to show you, and the beauty of it is it's probably got more in the tank, both of them, heading on to Sydney. I just watched it again today, just to have another look, and they've just smashed it, and they just hit both of them, hit the line full of running,
I've got it within half a length of Vancouver in the slipper last year, so which that's all relative to Seapoint and stuff as well. So it's an absolute sensational platform, and if those two horses turn up in shape at Rose Hill, they'll be hard in the market and they'll be hard to beat.
Oh, no doubt.
And when I'm saying like Vancouver, that's the slipper's later in March. You know what I mean? So to do that late in February is harder to do than doing it. You know what I mean? These 2-year-olds improve so rapidly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The only thing I will say is those two horses turned up on Saturday in absolute peak condition. They paraded sensationally. They were both perfect. So it's a challenge for Mick to get them 3 weeks from now to Rose Hill, and I would imagine they'll both go in without a run, maybe a trial in between or something. But
jump out.
But it'd be nice for them to have a look at Rose Hill first. But you don't always get what you want in life,
The race I'm looking forward to is seeing them back here in the spring over a mile at Caulfield. I mean, after a spell and coming back in the spring, like Extreme Choice might be able to get a mile, and I think Flying Artie will at least get a mile.
Well, Flying Artie's the one with scope. He's a really lovely,
Raw,
beautiful looking horse.
He's the one
I was watching him in the run.
Yeah.
I was watching him and I thought, here he comes, and then the other one just took off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, you said, while we're talking on it, the ride on Extreme Choice, I reckon he might have, I don't know if you listened to you, Pots, but I thought Froggy, what we said about him, Bustle, he let that horse stride, and then when the pace just slackened a tad, just let it get to where he wanted to get.
Yep.
And then exactly what you said about Craig today, you can sort of rush him a bit, and anchor drop and things like that. Well, that horse, he just let it stride. I mean, he had the horse underneath him, but I thought, and I think, and we're a bit critical on Craig, but in the big races, he can get the job done on these favourites.
I'd say you took the words right out of my mouth then. He rode that horse sensationally well, so well done, Craig. Like, you did not panic one bit. You gave that horse time, you let it build its momentum. You just could not have ridden that horse better. You ticked every box, you didn't worry about being caught wide.
Yep.
You just sat in the perfect spot. So just full marks to him. Ollie, I think, probably, if you're being really critical, it's hard, but there was a chance for Ollie to try and get into a slot about 2 lengths off Craig's back, and that spot ended up being taken by Sweet Cherry, who's the one that ended up shunning him off the track. So, but I think if he had done that, he might have got within half a length of the winner, but that's as close as he would have got. I don't think that, but no one was going to run past that horse on the day.
To me, both horses were ridden by those two, by Ollie and Craig, like they were riding superstars.
Yeah.
Ollie sort of set his task, but he knew he could get that the horse could overcome it, and Craig just rode his like, this is I'm on a superstar, and just got to keep him in clear running and keep him smooth and travelling. So I wouldn't. I reckon there could be something left in the tank for those two.
This diamond reminds me of the Testarossa Reduced Choice diamond. Like they could just be two absolute standout horses going forward, and they could go to Sydney.
Well, the thing is, 2-year-olds, a lot can happen in 3 weeks. I think a lot will happen in 3 weeks. I just think, I wouldn't be backing either of them right now. I mean, there's no need, particularly Flying Artie. He's not even paid up yet, so if things go...
We see the importance of barrier draws and things like that too. If
absolutely.
You're charged in early and then all of a sudden you're cocked.
It'll be a great betting race on the day. That we, at the moment with all these horses that there are, like Capitalist and Stern and these two and a few others, good standing, and there'll be others emerge. It's going to be a really good betting race. So I wouldn't be worried about backing anything early unless you've got something at long odds.
I think it's great too. Our autumn racing this year is fantastic.
Yeah,
our quality of horses is great. And I saw the Duff tweeted it on Saturday night. I think he said the Mexicans are coming after we've got Toomey Loose down here, and we've got the form he's creating, the strong form-longs, and then these fantastic 2-year-olds we've got, plus Ascadelia and things like that. So we're going to get to Sydney in the championships at a bloody big hand this year, the Vicks. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
you know who I reckon the absolute star of the day was, and we sink the boots in when we need to. That track, Jason Kerr, he just proved why that was outstanding. That track.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go say it every week, don't we?
Every week.
No surprise, it's just perfect. You can win anywhere, win from anywhere.
And it was just beautiful. And
so last word on the slipper is, if Flying Artie ever does win a Cox Plate, Juppy's the visionary here, because I can't look that far ahead. But
no, well, I've been hunting around trying to get someone to
remember that
team.
for Juppy. But so I think we should move on next to the Toomey Loose race, hey?
Which was the Futurity. He was just too good for him, wasn't he?
Yeah. What are your thoughts, DK?
It was a brutal. Well, contrary to poor old Greg Miles, who had them going at a moderate tempo. Now we've got sectionals on the screen. I think Greg will learn from that one. He's a class act. It was brutal, and he went quick. Toomey Loose couldn't get there because. But I was happy in the run. Well, we were cheering for Toomey Loose. Obviously, you liked him, Potts, and we gave it out in the set. But that was a pretty brutal race, and again, he was strong and.
He's such a strong horse, isn't he? I mean,
he doesn't stop. He won't stop him.
No, he's going away from him again on the line. I mean, that's 2 1400 metre runs now in really solid races. I mean, all the horses out of that race have got a great platform, but particularly Toomey Loose has just got such a sensational platform to wherever he goes. And if people want to know if Winks can be beaten this prep, she's going to have her hands full if she's in a race and she's got Toomey Loose in front of her and Bow Creek behind her. That will not be an easy spot to win from. But I mean, she's sensational. But I would say she's going to run into a horse that's got a better platform than her. So she will need to be, Chris Waller's a master, and she'll be, he'll have her there. But whether it's at 1600 or a mile, I cannot wait for that to happen.
Yeah, well, she might avoid him in is it the George Ryder next? And she goes to the Emancipation or something like that, just to and then maybe the one or two after that.
If you're going to run into one another, you want to do it on grand final day, don't you? You don't want to be doing it in semi-final, preliminary final day. You want to be doing it when the big dollars are on the line.
That'd be the Queen Elizabeth, wouldn't it? I suppose.
Yeah,
At 2,000,
and with all the money. But I tell you what, there's no better trainer, especially bringing one to here, than what Murray Baker is of setting one for the big races over here. Like, you've just got to double bonus anything he's bringing over. Like, he's not here for a haircut. He's here when it's fair dinkum.
Good runs behind. Thought the Weir horses were terrific again. The work, Trust and Augustine early and mid-race, and he only just folded. He was just weakened a bit late. He was terrific. Stratum Star, I mean, hard to match Turn Me Loose, but he just followed him.
Both of those horses are just ready to win. Like, Turn Me Loose at 1400, Stratum Star probably at 1600, but just both of them.
Suavito sound again for further.
Very good.
At the soft front. And the old mate Rebel Dane with the blinkers on. I thought he was creditable. He sort of had to cover a bit of ground on the turn, had to sort of try and run them down, and put the blinkers first time on him, sort of.
And
he put in a respectable level.
Hucklebuck just was going too hard.
No, he just must have flown the lids and got on the chew. He couldn't do anything about it. So he's an excuse, I suppose, but it's hard to come back for a run like that.
And in sad news for Glenn, Boban's been retired. They have actually retired him today, so he can't facilitate the sale to the United States. Thought he'd have some contacts in Florida or San Francisco or something where he might have been able to flog the horse to, but alas, no, the owners have said no, he can go out and be an eventing horse or something, so that's a bit of a shame.
Just for the
He's battling
exercise,
for a quid.
I went back and had a look at, because obviously Winks has got the word all the horses she met in the Cox Plate, right? So I went back and had a look at the Waterford Crystal Mile and the Cox Plate. I reckon there's not more than a length and a half between them. So Boat Creek was first up there. Maybe a bit. I'm saying if I bring Winks back a bit because of the run she got.
Yeah.
I'm not saying raw. On raw she's probably 3 or 4 lengths. But I'm saying bring her back a couple of lengths because she got that run. On that day, Terminalist did all the work and Boat Creek got held up. And I'm saying when you sort of bring those things together, they're close enough to her. So anyway, that's.
Well, let's look at that race now, which was Peter Young, and that wasn't D. Oliver 1,000,000 to 1 shot fumbling the whip. That was D. Oliver absolute 11 out of 10 right.
Well, he rolled the dice to some degree, didn't he? He missed the start. He knew the horse had acceleration. If it got held up, he could still let it go late.
Yep.
Whereas poor old Benny Mellum on our Ivanhoe was in a different circumstance. He was first up. He got some flack for getting off the fence, but he was following 100 to 1 chance. So, and he's on a stay resuming. So that was the play. It was the right play to try and get off. Any jockey of mine who are on the map and they're following 100 to 1 chance, and I'm on that horse, get off its back. Whereas Ollie sort of had, he was trying to saving ground through, and he could sort of, he took the run, but that was his play.
And also, as Dean Lester said, Ollie was on a horse that can take a run. He can just go bang and go in there. Mellon was on our Ivanhoe, who, let's face it, doesn't have the greatest turn of foot. Like, he doesn't just, you can't just stick him in there and take it.
No, he was trying to build momentum.
Yeah, and that's the sort of staying sort of horse he is. He needs that sort of momentum. And the other thing is, I think that, I know Freedy said that they're going to take him to Sydney, but geez, you'd love to see him in a wet Sydney Cup. He's got the synthetic hoof filler on the 2 front hooves. Like, these tracks down here are dry.
How Ivanhoe? Yeah. Oh, no, he's in for a super prep, whatever.
Yeah, especially if it's wet.
I think he's the most anyone's ever paid for a horse. They paid 2 or 3 million for him or something like that. And they must have had big expectations, and I wasn't too sure about him. But when the money there on Saturday, they said this horse is going to run well. I think the RSPs were heavily in his corner. Yeah. And he should have probably run second.
Yeah.
Arguably, so he'll be hard to beat in the Australian Cup, and he is the horse to beat in the BMW. I would imagine that's just the right race for him, particularly if they get, as Jumpy said, a bit of sting out of the ground.
Where's the BMW held?
Rose Hill.
And that's in
Sydney.
And what happens during the autumn in Sydney?
It rains there.
Yeah.
It rains.
Don't worry, it'll be wet. Some of the other runs in the race, it's fought in the finish, boys.
Well, I was a bit harsh on him straight after the race. I watched the replay for you, Dons. I mean, his last 50 was Al Moonquith. He was sort of there, and Al Moonquith actually, it was a good run. Al Moonquith, a sound return for wherever he's going. But he's just his last little bit. I know he wasn't killed, but
well, he was wider than Viandacross at one stage.
He wouldn't want to do that again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He would, like Nick, because Nick Hall didn't give him much. He set him a task, but it was unusual for him just to not show any dash out of the gates at 1800 metres. You know what I mean? He didn't. See, he was pretty he didn't show any zest. You know, there was nothing there. So
he did only get beaten 6 at the quarter though, which isn't a huge.
No, I thought it was further, but his last 50 he sort of was. I know Nick wasn't given. He sort of stopped. He sort of said, "I've stopped riding me. I'm stopping."
Yeah.
You know, whereas Almoodquick sort of got through the line. Rising Romance.
That was one.
She's singing along well. She's going to elevate soon. Whatever she goes to the Australian Cup, I suppose.
And Mourinho and Fenway, they were both good runs.
Yeah,
Fenway's
honest.
Yeah. Just notice that these Greek, I'm not sure what the owner's name is, but these horses in the Pittsburgh Fly, Fenway and everything.
Yeah.
Actually, they all prepped at Kieran Mars.
Oh, okay.
I mean, nothing against the Hopes or anything, good trainers or anything, but all these horses that, when what happened with the Cobalt, the trainer took all these horses away.
Yep.
And then they reconciled and they got them all back, but they'd all had jump outs at Caulfield and they'd all been in Kieran Mars. So look, they're all running well, and that'd be a factor anyway. You know?
Like a mare like her, Fenway, if they stay in that grade, she'll try and compete. She'll be around the money. If they drop her back to a mares race, like one of that, there's a 2,000 metre race at Rose Hill or whatever, or she'd just be immoral against the run of the mill mares. Off a run like that against those horses.
Yeah.
Race 4 was the Autumn Classic, which sadly and it depends on who you believe. If you believe the laid back Weary, then he wasn't overruled, but it seems to be.
I don't think Weary cares. Look, he's that sort of bloke.
But I also think I think if Weary had the choice, he would have ran Mahuta this Saturday. Because I think he thinks Palantino's nearly immoral this weekend.
The owners want to win a Group 1, and the horse could finish. But anyway, he came out and Tally ended up with you. You really like Tally, regardless.
From a selfish point of view, I wish he was still in the race.
Yeah, you're on Tally, but with Mahuta in the race, and made you more confident, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mahuta would have been hard to beat. I just thought at a price angle, Tally was good value. I mean, the horse I've had on my radar for quite a while since he won at Kyneton. When he did so much work that day. This horse has got real stamina. So he's got a mile and a half written all over him to me.
Yeah.
And I just think, he beat those horses pointless on Saturday. If there was a faster horse in the race, he would have chased it. Whether he would have got to Mahuta, I don't know. So the form behind it's not much good, but Tally's still doing things wrong in the parade.
It was pretty genuinely run, wasn't it? So, and he's sort of strong. He had a good run and everything was solid.
Yeah.
I thought the Top Ravine was a good run. I laid it on him, which at Sale, and he was dead set in a maiden, and he was just bashed to the line with a slow last section. I thought, geez, you've had your birthday, what have I done? I'll never back something like you again. And then he went and he's run really well since, so he's just...
good at Sandown.
Yeah, good at Sandown, and he was good on the speed again.
Yeah.
So he improved again, so I thought he's got sort of staying time. The horse out of the Sandown maiden, that Mick horse, it was one for the video watchers there.
Charlevoix,
that was it,
It's tough. It's first prep, so you don't know what he's going to. Mick Kent. I just go, I don't know. But just on face value, that was a nice run.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Second start too, was it?
Second start.
Just what you wanted. The second start, you don't want can't think second start.
Yeah.
Race 3 was the Angus Armanasco, which was won by Catch a Fire Posse.
Well, I'm a bit dirty on myself here, Juppy, because we did a preview show back, probably would have been December or January.
Okay.
And we talked about one of Mark's pearls, which was 3-year-old fillies out of their maiden. And particularly if they win it, if they fly in their maiden, they win it well. They can just make a huge leap at their next run. And in hindsight, it just makes so much sense to me. But when I was doing the form, I couldn't get over the class rise, But I'm just not surprised she beat those, fillies with the stakes form, or you know what I mean? Like she
towed them.
She's killed them.
There's nothing else there. There's a length between second and ninth or something.
Yeah.
So she's just towed them. But she was going good in maidens, and I actually had something on her in the Magic Millions maiden because she was 20-1 there or something, and she had the bad map, and it probably cost her the race.
Yeah.
And she's come down here, and then wasn't sure whether to cot lay it on at Mooney Valley. Both sort of didn't, and she was impressive. She's touted them. It was great, and it's also great for. I know Wiley Dalziel, and he's a sort of young family man who's sort of started his own business pretty hard. Sort of went out on his own, and he had a back. He got a backer and a friend in Perry Sambor to help him, and I saw the joy that win brought to so many people, and the people someone like Wiley brings into racing. They've got hummers to the races, and they're all would have partied all night. I still love a bit of narrative, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great for Wiley, and and the efforts he's putting into bringing people into racing.
Yeah, it's basically, those blokes do offer a lot, don't they? Because he had Roy Higgins with him, and he was helping him for a while. He wanted,
but he was still working. Because when I was at Mark Reed, when I worked at Mark Reed's, Wiley was sort of just trying to do a bit of syndication, but he had to go and get a job because it wasn't. He couldn't go hard enough, and he had got a young family and things like that. But he bit the bullet a couple of years ago and gone hard, and to see him win a race, the Group 2 race was fantastic.
Yeah.
Race 2 was the Zadaviv won by Sandra Anna Lane, who just beat Brockoff and Bassett.
Yeah, that was a good race. There's a lot of nice horses in that race, and I wasn't surprised to see Sandra Anna Lane win. He was trialling just really well, but he won that race with like nowhere near ready. He's in for a good prep, this horse. He showed speed, he found the line, he's the horse to follow out of that race.
Yeah, that was a bonus win for him. He just sat on the back of Bassett and Bassett probably just felt a little bit late, but he's got, just remember his maiden wins, and his maiden was outstanding at Bendigo. I just remember he just rated through the roof, and he's a big improver. So. Yeah.
And I just his trials this time in Dan compared to last prep,
sharp.
He's just the one at Werribee, he just flew out of the gates and just cruised around, you know.
And you just know a horse like this with a master trainer, Lee. Yeah. You know, this would be targeted for some good race, 4th up or something like that. You know, so big bonus win there. But there's a lot of it's a sound enough race, even though Brockoff ran well. He blamed the stupid whip rule, and I mean we could start on that. We'd spend our whole show on it. It's just ridiculous. But it's filling up the bloody stewards report and the poor old emptying the jockey's pockets. These bloody fines anyway.
Well, I'll give a little quick story about that. Do you know? Can you think of any jockeys that have been suspended in Victoria for the whip rule?
Okay, Forrester.
Okay.
Because he's a serial offender. He bashes. Well, I think he got time. Yeah.
Well, he's the only other one that I can think of. Melissa Nichols, who probably no one knows of, but she's a picnic jockey. She got 2 in one day at Yea on Cup Day. Now there are 2 races at Yea on Cup Day. There's the Yea Cup, which is over 1.5 miles, and then there's the Sister Olive, which is named after the horse that won a Melbourne Cup in the 30s. It's run over 3,000. What sort of horses do you think are in the 3,000 metre race at Yea? Not particularly fast ones. And to actually get them to go, she had to belt, and she's not one of the, and I'm not being unfair, she's not one of the top ones there, so she's not on the better horses in the race. Well, of course she's going to have to. She had to hit him that many times to actually get him to put in.
It's unfair. It really is unfair.
I'll say something on it, because it's first of all, a couple of jocks go to my sauna, spa and gym I go to, and I said to one of them the other week, I said, "Does the whip rule cost you a race yet?" Yeah. I said, "Where's the problem?" He said, you're trying to think through a race at the 600, what you're going to do. Then you've got to think, how many times can I hit it? And he said, these are not. I'm not talking about D. Oliver. I'm talking about blokes who are belting around things in benchmark 58s, 1600s and things like that, where the horses need some help.
Yep.
And that the same rule applies for 1,000 metres, 9.55 scamp as it does to a grand annual. Yeah. It's just ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, and it's
completely unfair. There was one race I watched. I can't remember the names of the horses. I wish I could. Well, I'm pretty sure it was a 2,500 metre maiden at Pakenham.
Yeah.
And Froggy was on one, and when these horses just couldn't, they can't get out of their own way, really, you know what I mean? And the horse Froggy was on was 100 to 1. Okay, and he's back last, and it just wouldn't pick its feet up, and he's at the 600 or thereabouts. So he's had to give it one over the tail. Like, and Froggy is right in the absolute ears off the thing. He's whacked it as hard as he possibly could, and he's scrubbing the ears off it, and it took off, you know, look at, and it started to get, thought, okay, you wake me up, right, and it went for about 50 metres, and then you could see it getting lazy again, so he's had to give it another one, and he's got it from last up to about third with 3 strikes of the whip. Then you could see him, like, it was, I've never seen him ride so hard. He was trying so hard on it, and all he wanted to do was give it a couple more, and he would have got it up to the leader and beat a chance in the race. But he had to ride it hands and heels for 300 metres. Because he'd used his 5
up the hill,
and then as soon as he got the 100 metre mark, he went, okay, we're back on again, and it got beat a length. And like, you're just thinking, that is wrong. The poor jockey, he must have got off it. He would have been completely exhausted, like, because he's ridden it hard for 1,000 metres.
It's not the racing straight, but it is costing punters races,
the
owners and everything. But it's you can see the jocks and them thinking through and things like that, and then you get beaten in a foal, something comes flashing late, and it goes back in your mind, the whip rule, and you go back and look at the video, and If he was able to get busy on it earlier, like he probably wanted to, well, he would have won the race.
Speaking of horses that could lead to you getting in trouble with the whip rule, was race 1 was the Mornington Cup / maiden hurdle at Warrnambool Prelude, which was won by a sign, and this was sort of the usual
Well,
suspects.
I've missed all this, Juppy. Was it in the press that this horse is going to be a go over the sticks? Is it?
No, I'm just telling you. That's where these horses. There's more money in jumps racing than what there is in some of the races that these horses
Well,
are
I don't think this horse will go. This is a nice horse.
What are you potting in for?
Well, all right. So if he goes and wins the Mornington Cup, will he be out of place in a Caulfield Cup? Because he gets a free ticket.
The way he was ridden the other day reminded me how they rode that other horse in the spring when Huey took off.
Just
owned the race on the European.
The one that's got the court case.
Yeah, one that got the court case. It was 10-1 chance in the Melbourne Cup and a live chance. Starts with
Amrala.
Amrala. That would have reminded me of that. Letting the Europeans stay, find the front and run them. So
I mean, this horse with 52 kilos in a Caulfield Cup would be a good 50s chance. That'd be it wouldn't be a 300.
What about some of the ones behind him though?
Oh no, we killed him.
Well, what about the old Marvel, the 9-year-old? I thought he went terrific. Extra zero, the
Mark
boys horse. Yeah.
No, well,
60 kilos. The other two had 54, and he was pulling ground. I don't know where he goes. He looks like he wants further. I know he's a 2,000 metre horse, but is he going? Well, do you know where he's going?
No, I haven't spoken to him.
Tashby doesn't run 2,000. Can run 2,000 when they sprint home. They walk and sprint home, but he can't run 2,000.
Well, that ride by Nick Hall was so good for so many reasons. You know what I mean?
It wasn't cruising, I know. You were on it and everything, and we liked it. But geez, it was ticking along in the run, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when you watch the race and it all makes sense, I'm just amazed at the price. So I'd love someone to oppose it.
Tashby, they brought Tashby, didn't they? When
they did. Yeah.
Like the consistency factor or something like that with Tashby.
Fitness advantage. But anyway, he killed it.
The Oakley Plate, I roared at about the 300 cheering Go Katie when she was leading there on Heatherly. I thought we were half a chance there, but
opposite. What gate she jumped from?
Yeah, it was 2 or 3. I mean, it's the peril of the inside draws.
Peril of the low draws. She was copping that pressure from those tough horses outside her.
Yeah.
And they've been able to keep going, and she's run really well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But just that extra bit of Group 1 pressure from the low draw, you know.
She's done exactly what she did last time. On my numbers, almost identical. So
she just
the draw and the pressure.
Yeah, just a bit of pressure. Yeah.
All right, well, can I ask another question, because it was mentioned, I think, on Twitter. Glyn rode the second horse and got beaten point one. If the gun was on who was off at the ride, we couldn't take it. Would that have made a difference?
Just got corked for a quarter of a stride or something out of 200, didn't it?
Yeah. Glyn's a funny rider. Glyn can really get a lot out of him. So you sort of, I mean, obviously any horse I'm backing it before the race is run, I want to have gun.
Yeah.
Because he's so consistent and he's so good in the finish and he tries so hard. He's all the things that Glyn's not, you know what I mean? But Glyn can get plenty out of him. So I'm just not quite sure about all that. I mean, and I haven't got a handle on that race because I could have had a lot of picks before I come to Flamberge. I mean, he's an honest, tough horse.
Yeah, geez, mate. He's got his 2-year-old. He's been now he's 6 and he's won a good race nearly every prep.
And good for Frosty and good for Peter Moody. Do you get one like?
I loved him one from the headwater because it had the high draw, so we got a scratch. And then Flamberge was virtually drawn alongside it, comes on and wins the race. So yeah, keep scratching on those high draws, Wayne.
Honestly,
Group 1s, please.
Well, Dothraki finished up in the gate that Headwater would have had, and it's finished 7th, and it was a 40s chance, and Headwater would have been a 40s chance.
Start at the winner, jump in, read out their barrier positions.
15, 5, 2, 8, 14, 10, 17, 1, 7, 6, 11, 9.
There you go. I mean, it's never like any race. Nothing's categoric, but them races are a lot easier to win from the outside half of the gates than the inside half. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And the big 12 unit
sorry, I'll just say that I've been finding just with the Pakenham they've got to shoot as well. They're different equations.
Yeah.
Shoot rail straight with that one turn.
Oh, absolutely.
They're really, and that's where there's extra pressure from out wide can come into it. But they're a different equation, you know. You've got to think differently than if they're coming around a bend, don't you?
And
anyone that started in Sydney, DK will have a real good handle on this because it's Warwick Farm had a lot of races out of the chute there, and you just need the outside draws, unless the rail's out 5. But and Randwick, I mean, the inside draws are just a death sentence. You know what I mean? You need the only way you can win from those inside draws is basically to lead solo.
Yeah.
Anything else, it's just so hard to win from them.
And also something that Mark mentioned on yesterday's Sydney show is that you also have to be aware when you're looking at the times for the races when they're coming out of the chute, because obviously that part of the track is prepared differently to what the rest of it
We
is.
used to, when Mark Reed started, we used to split it off.
Yeah.
You split it off from the rest of the meeting. Any chute races, there's a different track speed.
Yeah.
Because it's just a virtually different track.
Yeah.
You know, so just making influence times on the circle. It's just they should be treated separately.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing the form and having review and stuff like that, to me the chute races at Caulfield are no different in terms of relevance to the other races on the card around the circle as Flemington with the straight races and the circle races. I treat the straight races as a separate entity. When I'm doing Caulfield, I'll do the chute races as a separate entity. And to me, they've got very little relevance to the circle races.
Yeah. I find that with doing the country, I've just got to get my head in that space because every day's a different track.
Yep.
You saw it's 1200 and I ran a right over 1200 the other day. Hang on, no, that wasn't a chute race and it's a different track. There's different tracks every day of the week. So you just sort of try to get your yourself spend 5 minutes, get yourself in the headspace of this track and its nuances. You know, and every day's got to be different. You know?
Well, you look at 1200 at Yarra Valley compared to a 1200 at Pakenham is chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
And the big 12 unit bet landed in the last spots.
Yeah,
And it was perfect ride by D. Oliver again.
Yeah, everything was perfect. I nearly fainted, so what can I say?
Don't want it again.
We got the cash, you know, and she's got a good platform to go on with it.
Yeah,
You know,
that was another bonus win.
So-
I mean, they've gone pretty steady and she's been able to round them up.
yeah.
Just a great platform again against a bunch of informed mares.
Yeah, there's some
You
good
know,
info
I know there
there,
wasn't
so-
much margins, but there's good mares. Tuscan Stin's racing well.
Yeah.
Choosers racing well. Miss Rose Alago's no easy beat.
Yeah, absolutely.
My sister Lil
Yeah, she ran really well.
Yeah, that's a good one.
and a Fora.
That's a good run.
Yeah, that didn't go unnoticed. A few people went talking about it.
Even Whale ran well.
Yeah, well, I was just behind them, so that's for a while. She ruled off good late splits to round them up, didn't she? That's her. You know?
Yeah.
She's got the capacity to do that, so she can.
And last prep she got a lot better, third and fourth. And
Yeah, well, she's going to when she gets to Sydney, she's going to amp it up.
yeah.
Well, that'll probably do us for part 1. Now, if you're watching this and part 2 isn't up yet, wait 5 minutes, all right? And if it's not up in 5 minutes, wait longer. Because it's not through a lack of trying, it's just I'm bound by the boundaries of technology. So everyone just calm down a bit. All right, we'll be back